Hey everybody, it's Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside. I'm just going to level with you guys today. I'm not doing very well, and I'm having a real hard time. This is like the sixth time, I'm no kidding, that I've done this reading. So I'm just going to tell you. I'm not going to go through any astrology. I'm not going to go through any of that stuff. I'm just going to tell you what I got here, and hopefully I can do that and stay intact. And I've been so blown away by what happened on Monday with that person that came down our driveway, and it just no mask, no nothing, talking about nothing. And I've come to the conclusion it was essentially just a social call from someone that we don't know. I don't know her name. We may have said hello on the road or something as we walk. I don't, because we used to walk. We don't now, but I don't know. But I just have been, I know my husband said yesterday evening that he was still unnerved by the whole thing. Yeah, it's just one of those things that happens that gives you such pause. You're even afraid to talk. You just sort of sit there, you know? And so it's like when you realize that, if you're not even safe in your own property as we open up the states. I guess we're on a partial reopening right now in Oregon, and we'll see how that goes. I'm not so sure we ever closed over on our side of the state. I guess we did. Some places did, but it sure doesn't seem like it. Um, but in any event, I'm just going to go ahead with the cards. I did six different readings, or five different readings, so this will be the fifth and sixth will be the same. And I'm not going to do any astrology or anything since it's getting really late. It's like after 11 o'clock, so I should have already posted this. So I'm sorry about this. Sometimes it just, you think you have everything reasonably secured, what you're going to do here, what's going to be here, how this, you're going to, eliminate that as a worry because you're going to lock that site up or whatever. You know what I mean? You shut something down, so there's no possible way that's going to be a factor anymore. We're getting our bees this Saturday. They called, and I could have paid them in cash. I could have paid them with a check. I could have done a Visa transaction on the spot, but I could also do it on the phone, and so I did it because that way they don't have to deal with cash that could be contaminated. It's a young couple, young family. I want to say they've got three little ones and one's in diapers, pretty sure. So the last thing anybody needs to do when they bring the bees down, they're going to do it over the course of 3 weekends, and we get ours the first. We get ours this weekend. We're ready, so we'll go down on Saturday morning and wait for him to get there, or he'll already be there, and we'll pick him up. And because our bees didn't survive this last year, but hopefully they will this year. We keep saying that. This has only been 1 year we've done beekeeping where they've actually survived. So it's a dire situation for bees out there, and it's just not getting any better. So in any event, that's what we're going to do. But we decided to. I just decided on the spot. You know what? And I could feel a sigh of relief from her when I did so. When I said, "Here, let me give you a credit card over the phone." That way, we don't have that. We can eliminate that one contamination point. And she's like, "Great, thank you." And I really think she was happy about that. I think that it took a weight off her mind that there. And plus, when I also said, because she's trying to find a way to because she said, "Please stay in your car if there's a bunch of cars there. We're going to go one by one, and let's try to stay safe." I said, "Yeah, you don't have to worry about that with us." I says, "We will be there with masks and gloves on." And I said, we're going to socially distance, so I don't want you to worry about any of that with your husband and us. You don't have to worry. So she was very grateful about that. And I just think whatever we can do to have that kind of experience now, we need to do. I don't go to Costco anymore. I don't like the energy inside. It's too frenetic for me. It's not a bad place, mind you. The people that work there are terrific. The store itself is clean. It's great. The aisles are big. I mean, it's really, as far as Costco's go, it's a good store in our area. It is in Bend. It's a great store. I don't go there though. If I order any, I'll order things, but I don't go there anymore. And but now that they're making everybody wear masks and gloves, and they're restricting the amount of people in there, and they're understanding what needs to happen, I may go ahead and do that, because it may be one of the only stores around here that does that. I understand Fred Meyer in town is doing it, but I don't know how much they're doing it. It seems like what one friend said, some are and some aren't. So we'll see as this goes forward, how things are going to go. We're dealing with a lot of loss right now. The geomancy rune, I'm going to go backwards here today, but the geomancy rune for today is Tristitia. And Tristitia looks like this. So we see passive influences with fire, air, and water, and an active influence with earth. So there's a lot of going with the flow, but maybe the flow is not in the direction we need it to go. All right. So if you're going with the flow on the side of, not taking precautions, then basically what you're going in a place of toward in a direction of sorrow. Yira, which was the Elder Futhark rune for today. It's the 12th rune of the Elder Futhark, and so it's a 3 energy, and it's one of those as above, so below runes that exists in the Elder Futhark, where you see as above, so below. And here you see Kenaz twice, focused inward and outward, so we see the light of spirit informing within and also without, as we come together in balanced energy exchange, very similar to Gebo. But this is, instead of balanced energy exchange of the X with Gebo, what you have is energy moving through the body. It is spirit informing the whole process. You don't see ego here at all. Now, when we focus into form, it is spirit focusing into form. It's higher self. It's our soul. The vehicle is just, the way we do it, and how we interact with others. We do it via the ego, the personality, however you want to see that. So at the end of the day, is it just the ego or the personality that we're meeting when we meet someone else, or are we meeting spirit? Because the ego is going to want to be away from us. The ego is going to want to separate and see everybody as the other or as the enemy, but they never seem to see one another as a family member or a friend or a brother or a sister. They never see it as the other side of self, when in truth, that's what it is. I mean, think about that for a moment. Everything you see, everyone you see, is the other side of self, informing us, playing a part in whatever we're doing here. Each one of us is doing here. Each soul expression is doing here. So if we do it with the idea of spirit informing the process the entire way, both within and without, then maybe we're not contending with the 7 of Wands. We're having to stand our ground. Because depending on the ground you're standing, maybe you're the sovereignty crowd, the you're not the boss of me crowd, taking that attitude about all this. Or this is me saying to the woman who came by on Monday unannounced, unmasked, "What are you doing on my property? Get off. We're in quarantine. You could be shedding the virus right now and not know it." "Well, I haven't been to town in 11 days. Yeah, well, it's 14, not 11. So on the 12th day before, who were you around? Where did you go? Were you masked? Were you gloved? How did you do that? Were you safe? Or did you come upon someone who wasn't? And because you weren't, bingo, bango, there you are." Yeah. We got to work this out. We've got to let the issues at hand that we're dealing with right now settle out. If you look at the 7 as a scales, okay? So theoretically, what you have then, I'll go back to my little cross picture here that I have of the abyss on the 8 of Cups. I'll show you that again. But if you have the scales, with us as the center point, we're going to have to figure out some kind of balance between believing that this can harm us and thinking that it's no big deal. Thinking that it's okay to let it, quote, wash over the country and that we'll be all fine with that. No, I don't think so. But that's my opinion, okay? Based on 62 years of living. It's my opinion. Now, someone else may take a different standpoint, and that's fine. You can do that. You can do anything you want to, but at the same time, stay away from me if you don't think the way I do. But here's the problem. You aren't going to do that. You're going to expect me to stay away from you because you don't want my fear to interfere with your freedom. That's another sign I've been seeing. Don't let your fear interfere with my freedom. Okay, well, don't let your freedom interfere with my life. You see, that's the standoff we're in right now. And that's what this is showing us. We're in a standoff, and we've got to figure it out. We've got to figure out is it possible, first off, to preserve both ways of looking at this in a way that one side doesn't affect the other? Well, I've chosen simply to do that by simply not choosing my times and taking the burden on myself to stay away from people. Now, if someone's going to come into my space, I'm going to say something. If I can't move away quickly and deal with it that way, I'll say something. But beyond that, I won't. You come on my property, I will. But otherwise, no. But you see, there's a boundary there, isn't there? That's my property. If I don't know you, you don't know me. We're not friends. You got no business on my property, ever. Not ever. So this is how I see it. But the point is that we have to figure out a way to come to balance on this so that we're not doing this to one another, so that we're not in a battle of wills, because that's what this is. You know, wands is the fire element. It's about our will. It's about creativity. We have to be creative enough to find a way not to do this to one another. To understand the truth that there are people with compromised immune systems, which is likely the majority of the people in the country. This is a sick nation. It's a sick nation. We don't have good food unless we grow it ourselves. And then you've got some areas that'll sit there, and if you grow a garden in your front yard, they fine you. They don't want that. You live off grid and get your own, use propane for electricity. They fine you. They don't want that. They want you hooked up to the grid, paying money, right? So we're being, some of us are being prevented from living in a healthy way because we don't have equal income, or we don't have a social safety net that's adequate, or we don't have guaranteed income, basic income, because they won't guarantee a basic level of minimum wage that's actually livable, all right? You end up with all this need for all the social programs because people can't live on nothing. Again, we have to figure this out. We have to figure out a way that we can renew our emotional commitment to one another. The Ace of Cups is about, our emotional presence, about compassion, understanding. You see the Dove of Peace dropping a little white disc into the golden chalice as the waters of spirit overflow, nourishing and the whole emotional experience and resonance of humanity, bringing everybody into harmony with one another and compassion and love. Or not. But it is the motion behind Yura, the Ace of Cups. It is. Even though Yura is, I believe, an earth element, I think. Earth element, it might be fire, but I don't know. It might be because it's, it's an earth, because you can use it in a garden room, so it's probably earth. I'll have to look. But when we do that, when we come into a better harmony with one another, the loss found in this type of separation goes away. The tristitia of it all goes away. We move forward in trust. We gather our will together in alignment. And we move back into unity with each other. You see that demarcation line right there between where he is now and the choice he's made and where he's going. You see the castle over there. You see maybe his home is there or something. But he's coming back toward it in trust. I mean, it reminds me of imperfect love and perfect trust after aligning with the Ace of Cups. He doesn't need to see where he's going because he knows. He trusts the path forward because he knows that we're no longer doing this to one another. We're no longer in a standoff. In fact, our wills are aligned and we're moving forward in shared purpose toward the new beginning found in the 10, which reduces to 1, or new beginnings or wholeness or unity. See, there's unity in this card. There is not in this. And the way we get there is predicated upon the Ace of Cups and allowing Vera to manifest through our experience. And speaking of year, you know, we're in a 22 year right now. You know, together this reading, the numerology is a 9, or endings or completion. So maybe we need to put an end to this division, this animosity. It's being instigated by the President of the United States and the people around him. They are, he is telling people basically he's telling governors to meet with the people that don't want to be told what to do and give them what they want, basically. But again, if that belief structure is short-sighted and it's going to cause people to die, and the other thing that it could cause is we don't know what this is going to do to us, especially people that have immune systems that are compromised. Say you survive it, but maybe it's affected your lungs. We don't know. It looks like that may happen. If it does, then where are we going to be? You know, when we go, say our job is taken away, we have to go get another one, but we have pre-existing conditions and we don't have an insurance that will, you know, and we don't have a healthcare system yet that's going to deal with that. Because if we weren't going to have Medicare for all or some form of universal health insurance, we're going to have to after this. You know, it's funny, these pandemics, or these big situations that happen, these big catastrophes, they not only get us working together, although not in this case, not so much, because we have someone at the helm who's doing everything to throw rocks in that. Okay? He's doing everything to destroy that process, to undermine the whole thing and sabotage it. But had we had a president that didn't do that, then we might be in a different place together on this. And maybe that's the final message we need to learn. That anything less than that is not ever going to get us where we need to go. And so we end up staying here forever in grievance with one another, instead of moving forward with a new sense of loving commitment to one another and understanding that we're all together as one in this, so we can move forward in shared purpose. Losing the loss of Tristitia. I actually have these as runes, and I need to just bring them in here but then I have to go through them to find which one it is. But anyway, I should do that rather than drawing it out. But so you can see what they're like on the runes. But basically, if we allow spirit to inform this whole process, we're in a much better situation than if we are allowing ego, or one big ego, to guide us and to cause problems where there don't need to be any. So anyway, I guess this one went a little better than the others. So anyway, I'm going to stop early though. Usually these are at least twice as long, but I don't know. I'm not doing the astrology, so there won't be any of that. Um, I will say this though about it, tell you at least where the moon is. Let me get my notes back up here. Let's see, where is it? Oh, it's still in Aquarius. So, again, with the moon in Aquarius, I think it reinforces all of this. We're going to have to network with others. We're going to have to get together with others, but we have to do it in a way that respects boundaries, that is safe, and so that we can all figure out our way through this. We don't do it by coming up to someone and screaming at them because they have a mask on. And yeah, I saw someone do that too. Coming up to some woman who's in a mask and gloves and trying to be safe, not talking to anybody, not doing anything. This woman comes up, gets this far away from her, in her face, screaming at her. How dare you wear a mask out here? How dare you? It's like, what? I don't understand. My husband says that people are just being weird right now. It's like that FedEx driver that we told him to stop. Instead of putting the thing there on the freight box, he kept walking toward us. And I told him to stop. And he finally stopped, but not when I told him to, and not where I told him to. So there's just been too many disturbing things, too many things I've seen, too many ways people behave. Up at the feed store, they have those plexiglass things between the customers and the checkers and stuff. But that one, the one when we were there the last time, she sticks her head around and I look up and she's this far from me talking to me. No mask. I have one on, but she doesn't. What good's the plexiglass thing if you're not going to work within it? What good is it if she's ill and she doesn't know it and she got that close to me? I don't understand. I really don't. So again, it's maybe it's just trying to get used to it. I don't know. And so we do stupid things, that aren't actually preserving anything. Maybe it's that. But you wonder, is it somebody that just simply disagrees with this and isn't going to cooperate anyway? So now we're faced with having to ask ourselves, what am I seeing here? That's what my husband did with the woman that trespassed on our property. He's like, what am I seeing here? What's going on? Is she hurt? Is there a problem? Is someone hurt? Do we need to call the police? Do we need to call an ambulance? What's going on? Because why is she here? Like this. So it's that kind of stuff. And we have to get to the point where we're doing this again. So anyway. Hopefully I will be in a better frame of mind tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe I just need to just take a break. Maybe. I don't know. But I have to tell you, I appreciate coming here and being able to share this stuff with everybody because these are interesting times. And I just so believe with all of my heart that we get through it together. That being estranged from people or separated from people or viewing people in a negative light, I say, people are saying they want so-and-so to get the COVID. Serve them right. No, it won't. And if it did, what a horrible way to have to learn it. The information is there. We can see it with our own eyes. But some people are believing that you shouldn't believe anything that the media says. And you shouldn't believe what the doctors say or the scientists say. Only the game show host, do you believe? Right. Not this one. Mm-mm. So anyway, thanks for coming by. And again, apologies for the weird presentation today. But when you do the same thing over and over again, well, not the same thing, but as far as the cards, but when you try to do the same video over and over again, it just sort of, it's like, oh my God. So anyway, thanks so much for coming by, and come back tomorrow. I promise that I will be in a better frame of mind. So stay safe, stay protected, wear a mask, wear gloves, socially distance, and come back tomorrow. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.